Hi, I'm on a quest to make my first real game with no experience, and welcome to my first ever devlog. I'm trying to create a small, mobile, endless runner that shouldn't be too difficult for me to manage. Let's get into it. I started off by creating a new Unity project like any other game would, with a very fitting name, by the way. And the first thing I did was create the player, which I decided to call Bob. And then I decided to start coding the jump for the player, because if the jump isn't perfect, then the entire game is basically trash, because that's the only thing the player has to do. And let's just say that there were some problems. But it's okay though. Being the pro coder I am, I got it working in like 3 hours. That took so long, oh my god. But anyway, I used something called a rigid body to add an upward force to the player, which sounds pretty easy, but trust me, it's not. And how it works is that the game draws a circle under the player, and if that circle touches the ground, then the player is allowed to jump. And the only reason I was able to do all of this was thanks to Blackthorn Pro's tutorial on YouTube. Go check it out, it's amazing. But now that I had a good jump system in place, the next thing I had to do was make endless platforms for, the endless runner. And let me tell you that these platforms were a pain, bro. Like, at the time of editing this video, I'm still not done with the platforms and they're still so buggy. So I don't even know how they're gonna work. But the entire game basically runs on an optical illusion because the player actually stays in place and the platforms are the actual things that are moving, which makes it look like the player is running forward. And I messed up so bad that I created so many copies of the platform that it crashed Unity. But I was so frustrated by this point that I just closed Unity and went to bed. The next day, when I opened Unity, there was nothing inside of the scene. So like everything was like deleted, like even Bob, which was so heartbreaking. It was all good though, because all the files were still there. I just had to drag them back into the scene. And I named a new player in honor of Bob and called it Bob 2.0. And then I racked my brain for about like 5 hours trying to get these platforms to work, but they did end up working. I also made them gradually get faster, so the game would get harder as you go on. And then I also made a little score counter at the top, just so it's easier to keep track of your score. And then I tried to create the platforms. I tried to give them vertical variation so they would spawn at different heights, but then I ended up breaking the entire system. So I don't even know how, but to fix it, I tried making a timer for the platforms to spawn, but that didn't end up working either. And I don't know if that's because I just did the timer the wrong way, because I used the coroutine, and I don't actually know if that's the right way to get timer. But that definitely didn't end up working, and it wouldn't have been optimal in the future. And I tried tweaking my code for around the next hour, and to no avail, it still didn't end up working. But then I realized I was spawning a platform at the beginning of every game, and I was also spawning a platform whenever a platform got halfway through the screen. And my platform was starting halfway through the screen, which basically means I was spawning 2 platforms at the beginning of the game, which is why they were all doubled up and broken. But even after fixing that, the platforms weren't spawning at random heights. And after a bunch of work and testing, I figured out that it was because I was trying to use a method called random.range. And basically, I was using integers instead of floats. And from what I found out, this is because it includes to both minimum and maximum values. But finally, after all of that, I got the platforms to work. And then I wanted to make a parallaxing effect, so it looks like you're actually moving through a world and not just a bunch of like boxes. And this was actually simpler to create than I thought, and I think it looks pretty good. So, but that's basically all the progress I could make for this week because I had a bunch of homework to do. But yeah, that's it for now. Bye.